Hare Krishna. Lord Krishna, in the fourth chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, Transcendental Knowledge, text 39, Lord Krishna says that a faithful man can achieve transcendental knowledge. A faithful man, many have lost faith in God or the Supreme due to the problem of evil. There's so much suffering in the world that some philosophers said, if God allows such suffering, God must be a monster. So, but is that a fact? How does suffering affect our faith? That in Bhagavad Gita 4.14, there Srila Prabhupada states, a king can do no wrong. That he is the owner of everything, the proprietor of everything, because everything comes from God. That he created the system. He created the system, and the living entities, they are like workers in a factory. The owner of the factory is not responsible for the work of the workers. Every individual worker is responsible for his work. So, in that way, it is said a kingdom can do no wrong. That's the proprietor gives of the factory gives the opportunity of the workers to work, but he's not directly responsible for their work. That why do we suffer? One suffers the results of the activities of the body by identifying himself in ignorance with the body. When the living entity, the spirit soul, becomes aloof from the activities of the body, he becomes free from the reactions as well. So why did we get this body as spirit soul? It's because of our desire to be the controller in this world and the enjoyer and the proprietor, I and mine. That is the bodily concept of life. That the spirit soul cannot own anything. That we imagine that we become the owners and the enjoyers, but factually everything is Krishna's energy and is meant for his enjoyment. And by acting with that understanding that I want to give enjoyment to this body and this mind, which one considers oneself, one becomes responsible. Every reaction gets a reaction. Every action gets a reaction. I want to enjoy, I will suffer. I have to pay for that enjoyment. I cause suffering to others, I will suffer. These are the laws of karma. Karma, vikarma is bad karma because it causes suffering to the body. Sinful activities. Sinful activities are based on the idea that this is mine and for my enjoyment. But that's a criminal act. Everything belongs to God. And because he's the proprietor, he's the enjoyer. Bhaktam, Charitakasam, Sarvlagmaisram, Sridam, Sarvagutyam, Gatvanam, Santu Brichati, Lord Krishna says. that yes, Krishna says, I'm the proprietor of everything, of all planets, of everything. And therefore I have the right to enjoy, but I'm the friend of all living entities. So Krishna has created the system that if one is in bodily consciousness, one must be responsible and get reactions. But he's not performing activities. How do we perform the activities in this world? Because Krishna says we are not the doer, but we are the doer. That because desire is a subtle form of conditioning. The Lord only facilitates the desires of the living entities. You want to think yourself the controller and the enjoyer? Okay, you can do that in this material world, but you get reactions, you get the suffering, because why does Krishna do that? Because he wants us to give up this mentality and come back to our natural state as a spirit soul and go back to the spiritual world where we enjoy eternally in relationship with Krishna. So therefore we must take our own responsibility for our own actions. And how to do that, Krishna gives instructions in Bhagavad Gita. Satatam kirtayantu imam yatanta sadritavata. One must always perform sankirtan. And that purifies one from this wrong mentality of this lust, anger, greed, and so on, which is caused, which is afflicting us and causes our suffering, our identification with this body, trying to enjoy a very temporary life and temporary body. So it's up to us. If we take responsibility, then we purify ourselves and give up this mentality, the load of material nature, and go and develop love for Krishna, and for all living entities. So instead of becoming selfless, becoming selfless. Instead of becoming selfish or being selfish, be selfless. Only give pleasure to Krishna, because he should be the object of our love, because he is our source, our Father, our best friend. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.